So we're going to look at a few different settings that you can customize on your NAS, specifically around the hardware and also some power settings. So logged in, we're going to go into our main menu and control panel. And in here, we've got a section here under the system area called hardware and power. Now from within here, there are 4 tabs: general, power schedule, HDD, hibernation, and UPS. Let's just cover briefly each one of these and what they can do. Essentially, in the general tab, you can actually change some of the hardware settings on your actual NAS itself. So memory compression, so it improves the system responsiveness if you do want to compress memory or not. I generally recommend leaving that turned on. There's probably not very many reasons why you would want to actually turn that off, so we're going to leave that turned on. Power recovery is specifically around what do you want the NAS to be able to do when, say, power is cut or something like that. So you could tick this, for example, and it says restart automatically when power supply issue is fixed. So let's say your NAS goes down, there's power issues, and then you want it to start up automatically after a power outage. So I think that's pretty good, and I'm going to enable that. What about WOL? This is what's called Wake on LAN. What you can do with Wake on LAN is you can actually wake the NAS up over the network. So let's say you've got your network cables all plugged in. You can send a command to that specific IP address using the Wake on LAN protocol. And if this is turned on, it'll then turn your NAS on through this Wake on LAN command that you could execute from a computer potentially. So there are benefits to having this on. So I would say enable it. You can choose to do it against all of your LAN points or not, and that's all fine. Beep control, well, you may see that your NAS starts to beep depending on certain things. So when there's a disk issue, when there's a fan issue, when there's system power on, those sort of things, you can enable the NAS to give you a little beep, a little notification on when things are happening. I find it helpful because sometimes I may not log into my NAS or I miss a alert. So if I've got the NAS and it's near where I'm working, or if it's in a comms room somewhere and I'm in that comms room and I can hear it beeping, I'm more likely to go and actually see what's going on. There's fans inside of your NAS. What sort of speed do you want it to be running on? Do you want it full speed mode, cool mode, quiet mode? You can change that, but of course you change that, your NAS may run a little bit hotter, a little bit cooler, but it'll also be a little bit louder or a little bit quieter, depending on which setting you are actually doing. Then you've got your LED brightness controls. You can adjust the brightness of those LED indicators on your NAS. You can also set some schedules there. Power schedule, well, let's create one from here. So you can automatically schedule your NAS to start up or shut down at specific times. So this is a really, really cool feature, especially if you are conscious of power, for example, or if you don't have requirements to have your NAS on all the time. You know, obviously in a corporate environment, if you're running a production NAS and you're running an operation that requires the NAS, then you'd probably leave it on all the time. But if you don't have a requirement for that, you can actually schedule the actual NAS to shut down or to turn on automatically at a specific time. So you could say shut down daily or a specific day of the week and at what time, and the system will not be able to shut down if there is another scheduled task running at the same time. So just be aware of that. Startup or shutdown, it actually is a pretty cool feature if you do want that as an option. So you could literally say startup daily at midnight, okay, and there it is. And you can also then go and create a further one, a shutdown. We can say we're going to shut it down daily at the end of the day. So maybe at 6 p.m. we want to shut it down every day at 6 p.m. and then at midnight, we want it to start up automatically. All right, and that is the power schedule. You got HDD hibernation or the hard drive hibernation. So the internal hard disk and the external SATA disk will hibernate after being inactive. So similar to what you'd find on a Windows or a Mac computer, you can set the hard drive to go into hibernation. You can get your computer to go to sleep if there's no activity, for example. So you can actually go and change some of these settings against each of these options available for you. UPS is, of course, some uninterrupted power supply, so some additional power that you can connect against your NAS to make sure that it doesn't go down in the event that you have a power outage, for example. So you can enable UPS support, and you can specify what sort of UPS it is, whether if it's using a Synology UPS server or an SNMP UPS as well. Then you can actually go and customize that. Of course, in a corporate environment, you probably will have a UPS connected, so it is a good feature to look at using and enabling, because then it'll actually work better together with your UPS. So that's a little bit around hardware and power.